Good morning, world.
Good morning.
One time I was reading the paper, man, this story came on about this guy was suing a department store because they wouldn't let him play Santa Claus, because he's black. And I was actually like relieved when the department store beat him. That's bad. But I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for the idea of a black Santa Claus, man. That shit would suck. So we wouldn't get our presents to the 28th, 29th.
I think I found my seasonal gig. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about how that jolly old man who you have known for years, all of a sudden the left wants him to become more inclusive now. And along with that, step aside Michael Jordan, step aside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and other NBA greats, Enes Kanter is now in the consideration for the GOAT. But no matter what happens in your life, you gotta make sure you're prepared.
Folks, are you getting that uneasy feeling about the future? You can't put your finger on it, but you know something big is going to happen soon. And it's not going to be good. Millions of Americans feel that way right now, and they're quietly stockpiling emergency food while they can.
Do you have enough emergency food to get you through a sudden crisis? If not, check out My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's #1 preparedness company, and they've served millions of American families. Right now, you can save 25% off their popular 4-week emergency food kit. You'll enjoy a hearty breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks, totaling over 2,000 calories a day, while everyone else is standing in those food lines. Plus, the food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. And by the way things are going, we're probably going to need it much sooner than we think. But don't wait. Go to www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com and claim your 4-week emergency food kit now. Don't forget, you'll save 25% if you act right now.
That's www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com.
Awesome.
All right, Cedric, so you're going to go try to get a job at the Disneyland here?
I got to put on, I've been putting on some weight, so
I
keep putting it on.
No, you don't even have to wear the padding.
For those of you who are wondering, Disneyland has now...
it's actually Disney World, right?
Disney World in Florida.
But we have Disneyland here, so he's going to get the gig here.
Yes. They want Santa to become more inclusive, so now they're going to have a black Santa. And as you saw there on that Dave Chappelle skit, this is something he did 7-8 years ago. And I think Dave Chappelle, he's become the modern day Mark Twain. He says some things that are just funny and right on point. And I started thinking about having a black Santa also. And there's just some things that it would just go south. Because number one, you got a black guy come down the chimney. First, you got B&E, breaking and entering right there. Number two, he's wearing a red velvet pimp suit. And third and lastly, how awkward it would be for a black man to come down the chimney yelling, ho, ho, ho. That could be very offensive. And I shouldn't touch on this, but he's got to check his GPS and see where he is, because he's like, where am I? Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse. Do not go down that chimney unannounced, because Kyle will have something for you.
Kyle only shoots white guys.
Right. According to, yes. So Black Santa's okay. We want to talk about this. We want to show you this first clip about how the left is just trying to mess up Christmas now. And I'm saying this as a black man. Growing up, I had no problem with Santa being white. Because
I thought about this because my sister has a Buddha statue in her room. It's like her Zen room. Mm-hmm. Am I going to get offended and say, I don't feel included unless that's a white Buddha? Because an Asian Buddha is not inclusive to me. It's not inclusive of you either.
Right.
So we're going to probably have to have a black Buddha.
Black Buddha.
I don't know, because there's a black Jesus already, right?
Right.
But yeah, Black Santa. If you know the story, if you're older than two, and for any kids watching out there, don't worry, it's the same Santa. It's only the ones at Disney World that may not be real.
Right.
But Kris Kringle, it's a whole story from basically Northern Europe.
Yes.
So unless there's a lot of black people in Northern Europe that I don't know about, then you have to change the whole story, the whole narrative.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. This first video clip is from a show we don't really watch, The Young Turks. But Megyn Kelly has some very...
He watches it all the time.
I don't watch.
Why is Megyn Kelly on the Young Turks?
No, they're previewing this. You'll see the Young Turks in the upper right-hand corner. They're making fun of her for what she's about to say here. So, Brian, hit this clip really quick.
Okay.
In Slate, they have a piece on .com. Santa Claus should not be a white man anymore. And when I saw this headline, I kind of laughed and I said, oh, this is so ridiculous. Yet another person claiming it's racist to have a white Santa, you know? And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but this person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa. But, you know, Santa is what he is, and just so you know, we're just debating this because someone wrote about it, kids.
Okay. And I completely agree with Megyn Kelly because ever since the beginning of time, Santa has been white. And we talked about this on an episode a few weeks ago.
Not the beginning of time.
Well, ever since Santa was originated, he's been white. There's no sense in changing him. And I'm thinking, and I really don't stand. I dislike the fact that it turned Superman into he's bisexual. Batman, sidekick Robin, he's bisexual. And they're turning all these characters around that we're so used to. My thing is,
gay.
we kind of saw that coming. If you guys want new characters, then create new characters. Don't take the characters that we've grown up with and alter them. And you look at Martin Luther King Jr. and Santa Claus, besides those two men, who else judges you strictly on the content of your character and not the color of your skin? What does Santa base you on? He bases you on two things. Are you
naughty or nice?
That's it. Don't care what color you are. Don't care where you come from. Are you naughty or are you nice? If you're nice, you get presents. If you're naughty, you don't. And that's the way it should be.
Naughty.
Oh, jeez. Let's look at this this next clip, if you want to cue that up. This is from some gal named Macy. And she said, I'm pretty sure I just caught the very first black Santa to ever be at Walt Disney World. And I am seriously crying happy tears. It's just some random person that's tweeting like she's happy now that she saw a black Santa.
Does she looks white.
He looks white, yeah. And this is what's weird. I saw when people were against a bisexual Superman, or seeing a bisexual Superman brought them happiness. Superman, of all people, you talk about illegal alien. Superman is the original illegal alien, came to this country, acclimated himself to America, truth, justice, the American way, and people said, well, I can't see myself in him. That's a character flaw on you, because if you can't see yourself in Superman based on his character, not the color of his skin, then something's wrong with you. That's irritated the heck out of me. Yeah. Superman is what America is all about.
I know. Well.
And then this next clip is from a gal named Victoria Wade. I guess she's she's a theme park social media promo person, and she promotes social media on theme parks on her social media site. Let's see what she has to say here. She said, a theme park social media influencer who is black tweeted about the inclusion of a black Santa at Disney Park, writing, never in life did I think Disney would actually put a black Santa in the parks. The move made her emotional and more likely to spend money attending the park's Christmas parties, she said in her post.
Oh my God.
But that's weird because...
Do we need to change Walt Disney to black too? I mean, he created Disney.
I don't know.
He wasn't black. He was white.
And I'm surprised that when Obama was in office that we didn't paint the White House black. Because this stuff is just ridiculous now, because Santa has always just been a white man. It's just the way it's always been. And the thing that the left always says is, and they mention this on the Young Turks, why do we as people who are on the right or who are conservative always make a big deal out of little things like this? And they say, it's a fictional character. Calm down. And if it is a fictional character, tell you what, we'll stop putting a lot of weight on these fictional characters. If you stop putting so much weight on the fiction that a man can be a woman because he thinks he is, or a woman can be a man because she thinks she is, that's about as fictional can get. So if you're going to ride with that, we're going to ride with Santa Claus staying white.
And how confusing would it be? Let's say you've got a 7-year-old kid. He knows what Santa Claus looks like from all of his upbringing. And then all of a sudden he goes to Disney World and he looks at that. And I don't care if this kid's white or black.
Right.
Like you said, Santa's always been white. Even in a black household, Santa was white. That's because the kid's going to go there, and what is first thing he's going to say to his parents? That's not Santa Claus.
Right.
And then somebody's going to go, well, that's racist, you little kid, especially if it's a white kid.
Right.
And the kid's going to go, what are you talking about? All the books. This is what Santa looks like. Right. So now it's going to confuse all these kids, right?
Yeah.
Just in the name of diversity. Yeah. or in inclusion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so silly. I mean, should we make Superman black then? Black and bisexual?
I think there's a black Superman.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man is...
But is there a white Black Panther?
Well, that's an oxymoron. You can't have a white Black Panther.
I'm just saying.
And I have a lot of favorite Christmas shows. The Christmas shows are already out in full force, and we haven't gotten to Thanksgiving yet. But in the 1947 classic Miracle on 34th Street, I love that scene at the store where the young Dutch girl, played by Natalie Wood, for those of you who didn't know that, comes up and talks to Santa, and the lady says, you don't have to talk to her, she's Dutch. And Santa starts speaking to her in Dutch.
Yeah.
And then you have the remake, which came out several years ago, and I forget the young girl's name, but she sees Santa interact with the girl who's deaf, and so Santa goes into his ASL mood, American Sign Language mode, and starts signing to her. That's what Santa was all about, and I don't think anyone thought about the fact that he was white until the left started making a big deal out of it.
Is Black Santa going to speak any Ebonics?
That was a joke I can make. You can't make that joke. in his red velvet pimp suit.
But I just made it.
Sorry.
Canceled.
No, but it's just serious. I mean, like, I don't understand this, how we're just turning everything around. We've had fictional black characters. You look at, who was it, Lucius Fox, who was the right-hand man for Batman. You had the character Storm, played by Halle Berry. And one of my favorites, people say I look like Frozone. Exactly. Where's my super suit?
That's when you were skinny.
That's when I was skinny. Yeah, super suit. We have all these fictional black characters, and then no one cares. Like, cool, we've created new characters, and I understand, and that's the way it should be. Mm-hmm. I forget the lady's name who we talked about. She turned down a lot of roles in the beginning because she didn't want to pay the prostitute or something like that. It'll come to me later. But what Hollywood had,
they're yelling at the TV right now or at their phone.
That's all right.
Because they know. They know what it is.
I know. It's
Cedric!
I know. But what we've done is that Hollywood has created positive roles for black people. You don't go back and reassign the roles that were already assigned, like the Santa Claus. I don't even know what the Easter Bunny is because it's the white rabbit, right?
It's white.
It's white. It's white.
There's not a lot of black rabbits, is there?
No.
I don't know.
No, not at all.
Biology. A lot of rabbits are in the snow. They got to be white.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So tell us what you guys think about that. I think Superman should remain white. There's no reason to change him because, like I said in the earlier statement, it's all about who he was as a person. And the fact that if you need to teach your kids, look at this individual for who he is and the character traits that he possesses. And it's not such a big deal that he's your color.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
And for the people who want to compare it to like Barbie and all that, well, because Barbie is just a female character. So you can have a black Barbie, you can have a white Barbie, you can have an Asian Barbie, because they're not a specific character. Santa Claus is a specific character. Mythical, fine. Real, fine. But he comes from a story that takes place in a certain area. So if he was originally black, then great. Then he's a black Santa. Or I know there's other cultures that have their version of Santa, and they're probably whatever the majority race is in that country, if it's a Christian country. Or, I don't know other religions, if there's something, maybe Indians out there from India, if they have characters that are holiday characters, I'm sure they're Indian characters. It's just the way it was invented. It came, like I said, it came from Northern Europe. So what are you going to do?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, like I said before, they can pretend that, a man can be a woman, what they pretend to be, which is fictional, or a woman can be a man, and they can believe that riots are peaceful protests, but they can't accept that Santa is white.
I know.
Anyway.
It just goes back to the same thing that people, if they want to be offended by something, they will be. So people, if they want to be offended that Santa's white, then don't participate in the Santa thing.
Right.
Hopefully you're not having kids.
Right. I
don't think any of the young Turks are having kids. Right?
Yes. Well, let's move on to our second segment of the day. One of my favorite basketball players of all time, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Note the sarcasm in that. He was recently called out by Enes Kanter, a forward for the Boston Celtics. And I can't believe this because for those of you who followed the NBA, there's nothing more Hatfield and McCoy than the Lakers versus the Celtics. And they locked horns about 2 or 3 days ago. And I cannot believe I am saying this because I literally grew up cheering for the Lakers in my mom's womb. I was cheering for Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, but I am almost happy that the Celtics beat the Lakers.
Oh, did they win?
They won. They thumped them.
Did LeBron go out with a cramp?
No, he didn't go. No cramps. He didn't cry like he was eating lemon heads, like he said about Kyle Rittenhouse. But Enes Kanter called him out because, let's get into this. Let's look at Kyle's comment. For those who don't know who Enes Kanter is, a Turkish gentleman who plays for the Celtics. And he's really been getting on LeBron and Phil Knight and other notable players, even Michael Jordan, about how they're so vocal about what goes on here in the States, yet they completely turn a blind eye to what's going on in China. And what he says here, he says, money over morals for the king. Sad and disgusting how these athletes pretend they care about social justice. They really do, quote, shut up and dribble, end quote, when Big Boss says so.
Big Boss with the Chinese flag.
Yes. And he says, did you educate yourself about the slave labor that made your shoes, or is that not part of your research?
Oh, that's right, because LeBron was talking about he needs to do more research.
Yes. Yep.
What a cop-out answer.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, what did you just say? You were just talking about something before we came on the air. Oh, about CNN and the Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, yes.
That they're trying to cover their butts now.
Yeah, CNN said, we just discovered that Kyle Rittenhouse did not bring a gun over, and he was visiting his dad, and it is legal for a 17-year-old to possess a gun with a long barrel. It's
Big journalisming.
We've been saying this since day one. You just chose to ignore it.
I know.
So anyway, if you look, and you have to go online, the shoes he wore these shoes that you see here, up there.
Up here.
And they were specially made, and they're taking jabs at LeBron James. And I forgot what the shoes said exactly. You guys can look that up.
You want me to make it bigger for you?
Yeah.
Cedric's visually impaired.
No, it's not bad. I just, my goodness. What does this one say? I am informed. The one at the top right corner, yeah. I am informed. And that's just a jab at LeBron James saying, obviously you're not informed. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into it later because LeBron made a comment later.
Hey, still researching. Getting educated.
Oh, and this is pretty cool. I can't remember which one it is. There's a picture of LeBron kneeling or genuflecting, and the whoever's in charge of China, I'm not going to pronounce his name, he's putting a crown on LeBron's head.
Nice.
And for those of you who don't know, as big as the NBA is and how much money it makes, it is simply a small marketing arm for China. That's all the NBA does. They market for China, and when you're a pimp and you have your, like I said, your bottom line female dog, that is LeBron James. He will say whatever China wants him to say because in the end, it's going to affect his wallet. But he won't dare speak out on things that go on here.
I don't think that's the only thing. I know that's part of it, but I think he's just ignorant. I think he falls in line with most of the BLM, not the BLM people that are in charge of it, because they know exactly what they're doing. They're Marxists. They want Marxism. I think LeBron is just ignorant to it, and he just sees color. So since it has black in the Black Lives Matter, he's just going to go all in regardless of what it stands for.
Right.
And so I think a lot of his stuff just falls in with that. Couple that with he's getting a paycheck from all the China stuff.
He's getting a huge paycheck.
Yeah. So you put both those together, he's never going to go against it.
Yeah. Let's go to the second tweet. This is also Enes Kanter. He sent a tweet to Phil Knight. Phil Knight is the owner of Nike, and he's in cahoots with LeBron. And he goes on to say to the owner of Nike, Phil Knight, "How about I book plane tickets for us and let's fly to China together? We can try to visit these slave labor camps, and you can see it for your own eyes." At King James, who is LeBron James, and he takes a shot at the GOAT and at Jumpman23, who is Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan is still making a mint from Nike. He said, "You guys are welcome to come too," and that I love the fact that Enes is doing that. It's affected his playing time.
Has it?
Anytime you attack the chosen one, LeBron James, it's going to affect you.
What team is he on?
He is on the Boston Celtics.
Oh, he's on the Celtics.
He's on the Celtics. But I love the fact that he invited King James and Michael Jordan because they're both raking in money. And like Brian just said, LeBron is always commenting about BLM and how people are mistreated over here. It's like, you're such a hypocrite because you're making a mint off what's going on here. Hypocrite, yes.
And I like that hashtag end Uyghur forced labor or Uyghur forced labor.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go into this later. Brian's gonna get this clip ready. It's gonna be LeBron's response to Enes Kanter. And basically LeBron is saying in this clip how he's ignoring Enes Kanter because he's not on his radar and he's not important enough to acknowledge. And we'll talk about that in 1 second after we see this clip.
LeBron, do you have any reaction to Enes Kanter using your likeness on his shoes in his advocacy for human rights?
No, I think if you know me, I don't really give too many people my energy. And he's definitely not someone I would give my energy to. Trying to use my name to create, an opportunity for himself. Definitely won't comment too much on that, if any, and that'll be where I lay that at. He's always, kind of had a word or two to say, in my direction. And as men, if you got an issue with somebody, you really come up to him. He had his opportunity tonight. I seen him in the hallway. He walked right by me, so,
Didn't want him to cry.
And that is true. And they probably made each other in the hallway before the game. I think Enes Kanter just decided, we got a game to play. We got a game to play here. We'll do the game. And I'm like 99.9% sure if Enes Kanter said, hey, after the game, let's put an 8-foot table out. Let's get the mics. You and I, let's sit down and talk about this. I am 99.9% sure LeBron would say, no, I don't want to do that. Because he has a history of avoiding conflict, especially when he knows that he can't win.
Yeah, if there's a rebuttal, he won't do it.
No.
When he has a mic to himself, he'll talk.
Yeah, because back in 2017, you guys probably don't remember this story, but when LeBron has a house here, I think it's either Bel Air or Beverly Hills, it was tagged with a racial epithet. And he raised a stink until I think they found out that the one who sprayed it was also a black person. And that story went away as quickly as it came. And LeBron said, well, I don't want to talk about it now because now I can't win this because if one of my own painted it on there, then what's the point? You guys also remember Brian and I did a story on Ma'Khia Bryant, the lady who did she shot? No,
she was going to stab.
She was going to stab someone else, and the cop shot her, protecting the other girl. And LeBron went on social media with two simple words: "You're next," and that was directed toward the cop that did the shooting. He took it down later when he realized that the cop did a good thing. It wasn't about white lives matter or black lives matter. It was like I was protecting the life of someone else. And then during that same time, there's a LAPD officer out in this area, Dion Joseph, who basically reached out to LeBron and said, hey, can we sit down and have a conversation? Because I think you're misguided about what being a policeman is all about. I want to sit down with you, not insult you, no cameras, man to man, and we can talk about this. Do you think LeBron accepted? Absolutely not. Because the guy went on to say, he goes, I used to be just like you, LeBron. I hated the police. And I had a lot of misinformation. And I said, until I found out what the police are all about, LeBron ignored that. I believe Candace Owens reached out to him and said, let's have a discussion. He ignored that. And then the whole BS about I'm not going to give my energy to people. He will give energy where he thinks he can win the fight. LeVar Ball, I don't want to give him too much attention, but he was the one who kind of came at LeBron pretty hard a couple years ago when his son entered the NBA. And he basically made a comment like, it's easier for my son to succeed in the NBA as opposed to LeBron's son because he has to follow in the steps of his famous dad. And LeBron clapped back and said, keep my name out of your mouth. So the whole thing is, I don't give people my attention. That's a bunch of BS. He'll give it attention if he thinks he can win the argument. Yeah. So LeBron's a hot mess.
Now, Cedric, who's the biggest Laker fan, and because of all this stuff going on, is not even watching Laker games.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
And he actually wanted the Celtics to win a game. That is unheard of.
I know. It's incredible. So anyway, we want to touch on those two topics real quick. On another note, Brian and I, before we release this video on tomorrow, Tuesday, we just had a very cool meeting, very exciting meeting for Cedric and Brian. Should we tell them? Can we allude to it?
We might be coming on a station near you.
A TV station near you. And which I thought would be difficult because I was always telling Brian that I have the ideal face for radio. And I'm thinking, who would want us on a TV station? But we're crossing some T's, we're dotting some I's, we're still in the talks with some people. But stay tuned for that because it's pretty exciting. We might be on a cable network close to you.
Yeah.
How exciting is that?
I know.
Incredible.
And if you're watching us on that cable network right now, we're talking about you.
Yes, exactly. Let me get the comment here because Brian said that's my only job.
His only job.
Yes.
No, actually, Cedric put this segment together today.
This is from
I have to edit it though.
right.
Always.
This comment ties in. A while back we did the Keith Olbermann segment when he was saying that people who don't want to get the shot are afraid, and he kept calling us names. But it ties in with what we just talked about today, and it's from Patrick. And Patrick says, "Give them an inch, and they will run right over you for another mile." Ain't that the truth? I'll give you a reason why you guys don't have 100,000 subscribers. YouTube doesn't like you speaking up. Well, YouTube, we're going to be on cable TV pretty soon. Deal with that. But I love what Patrick says. Basically, give them an inch, and they'll run right over you. So it goes back to our first segment with the whole Santa thing. They keep telling us to back down from that because we're making a big deal out of a fictitious character. Is that if we don't take the small things seriously, you guys will keep taking things from us until we have nothing left to take. That's why we address the quote-unquote small things.
And that's why Cedric talked about that, because I have to stay in my white corner over here.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed those two videos. Thanksgiving is coming up. Are we going to do it? We'll have a Thanksgiving video to put out.
Look on Zazzle for our new mugs.
Yes.
It's on Zazzle. They're running specials all the time. Sometimes they're 20% off. Sometimes they're 50% off. Sometimes it's free shipping. Just go on the link below under Zazzle and look for the mug with the face on it. We haven't even got ours yet, but we'll get those.
Yes.
I'm working on hats right now. I have different ideas. I'll have Cedric post some of them to get your votes, maybe on Instagram, which ones you like.
Yeah.
And you can see what those look like also.
Yeah. And we don't know because Zazzle doesn't tell us. Sometimes they run these promotions like Brian said, and they don't tell us. They did the free shipping a while back.
Yeah, you just have to go on and they'll have some kind of promo code.
Yeah. But if you guys are looking for that ideal, you have to know people who drink coffee. And what better way to surprise that person than a Cedric and Brian coffee mug? And who knows, there may be a Black Friday sale, or as I call it, Friday. So maybe you can just get out there and get a couple of those mugs and give them to your favorite people and help support us. That'll be awesome. I think that's it, right?
That is it.
Okay. Well, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share our channel with everyone you know. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you later.